Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Hector Rivas. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about working in Photoshop and templating. Templating is when you're giving a form to fill out. So look at it like as a form. And so I'm giving you a template, a form, and you're going to fill it out with your artwork. Because you are now at the tail end of the project. Congratulations, you're finalizing it. This is the home stretch. It's getting all your artwork inside your template so you can turn it in. And you're doing 5 character art, so you're going to be doing this 5 times. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to give you this file so you can download. It's going to be called midterm template. You are going to copy it to your desktop and you're going to work with this template. This is how it works. Once you have this file, this template, you're going to double click on it and it's going to open up like this. It's going to give you 3 rectangles. In fact, let's look at the layer organization here. I'm giving you 3 folders on this template. One is called text, art, and the template itself. So if you check off the template, you see all the borders are erased or they're hidden. You don't have to do anything to this template layer. And then there's your text layer, which is the text, the type that you're going to have to edit. And then finally, there's your art where you're going to drop in your own art into it. Okay, so how are we going to tweak this? First, the text. Let's start editing it one piece at a time. So you're going to go to the text layer and you're going to open that up. And there's only 2 layers within this text group, the name and the date. So let's start with your name. So double click on it here on the thumbnail. And you're going to see that on the bottom left hand corner, you get to change it to your name. So your student name, put your name there. Class is Anim 100 digital paint and ink. And the time. So for you guys, it's choose the time for your class. Is it your Monday and Wednesday class? Or, you know what you could do better? Instead of time, let's go ahead and change this to CRN number. Because as we do classes online, we no longer are meeting. We don't have a land meeting anymore. So let's go ahead and give it a CRN number. Whatever your CRN number, 42875. So you're going to look that up on your portal to get that CRN number. Then, once you do that, then you go to your next layer, which is your date layer here, and double click on the letter T right here, the thumbnail. Double click on that. And then this is going to be highlighted. So this is what you're going to be changing, the date. Whatever date you're working with here, just type it in. And professor name, my name, and the name of this file. So typically speaking, you should label your file's first name, underscore last initial, underscore character art 01 PSD. Your Photoshop. So this is everything for character art 1. Maybe you should call it MT for midterm PSD. That way you don't get confused. You know, when you see the MT, that's the one that's templated. It has all your stuff inside of it, all your artwork. Okay, once you do that, you're done with the text template. You typed in all the information that you needed. Now it's the art. Okay, So let's start out with square number 1, this one right here. This is your original scan. Where did you start? This is your drawing, your traditional drawing. So what you're gonna do is, here is the original scan for me. I'm working with Goofy. And let's say I worked on this pose. This is my drawing. And you did it in ink, you did it in pencil, you did it in type pencils. So now you're gonna bring this into this square. And how do you do that? You simply drag and drop it into your Photoshop. And once you have it here, you scale it. Command T. Let me bring up my keyboard so you can see this. Command T to scale. So I'm holding Shift as I scale because I want it to be proportional. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than my box. Now press return to stamp it down. See, it's bigger than the box underneath it. If I want to change the opacity on it, I'm going to go up here to the upper right hand corner, change the opacity a little bit so I get to see where it's going to fit inside my box. I want it to be like this. I don't want to fully show my character art. I want it to be cropped kind of creatively. Maybe like this. All right, I'm going to go back and change it to 100%. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to mask Goofy, this traditional Goofy, inside that rectangle. How I'm going to do that? I'm going to hide this Goofy scan, and I'm going to go to the template layer. So I am going to this template group, and I'm going to select the template layer. I'm going to hide Goofy for a second so I can just focus on this template layer. And I want to make a selection out of this. The way to make a selection, there's two ways. I'm going to show you both ways. Number one, you can use the magic wand tool. So it's this tool right here, the magic wand tool. And I can select the white region. Oops. Just click on it. I accidentally right clicked there for a second. But you just click on it and it makes a selection out of this rectangle. That's one way. So basically we want to make a selection. Another way is to use, instead of the magic wand tool, is to use this tool, the selection tool. And I get to just select it like that. Whichever way you want, it's okay with me. I just want you to learn how to do it both ways. So I'm going to go back here to Goofy. Once I have my selection, I go to my Goofy layer here. And I'm going to apply a mask to that layer. And if you remember from the previous lesson, the icon is on this layer window. You go down to the bottom and you apply the layer mask, which is this one right there. This icon right there. And I click on it and look what happens. It's masked inside. So that's what I do for my original character art. You're done with that one. I think I need to be organized here on my layers. So I'm going to grab this layer and put it inside the art folder. Inside the art folder. Okay, great. I'm done with that one. Now I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to bring in my Illustrator to fit this middle square. How am I going to do that? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find this file here, which is your Illustrator file, and you double click on it to open it up. And here's your Illustrator that has the vector shading, vector highlights. It has been drawn really clean. You added a mask to it. Well, now you're gonna select it, copy it, Command C to copy again, Command C to copy. And then you're gonna go to Photoshop, and you're gonna paste it, Command V to paste. Photoshop is gonna say, how do you wanna paste this? As a smart object, as pixels, path, shape, layers. We already talked about what the differences of these are. So we're gonna paste it as pixels and then press OK. And now you scale it, Command T. Scale it proportionally. Kind of get it to be about the right size of your traditional. So it's like kind of proportional. Then move it here. And then now I'm going to make the selection. I'm going to just go and use the selection tool here. And I'm going to select I'm going to make a selection out of that rectangle. And then I'm going to mask it, which is that mask button down at the bottom. Okay. I label the layer properly. Call it Vector Goofy. Remember, everything that's done in Illustrator is vector based. And then I can put it inside my art folder. Now I'm done with item number 2. Now you're going to notice that it evolved from my original drawing to my Illustrator work. I streamlined it, I cleaned it up. It should look cleaner and better than the first one. I don't know, I wouldn't say better necessarily. It's different. It's more for a different media. It's more streamlined. So the line work should be cleaner. Okay, so I started with, this is my original Goofy. Then I cleaned it up, and here's my vector Goofy. Now I'm gonna go to square number 3, my Photoshop Goofy, and I'm gonna import it and drop it in here. So now I'm going to go find my final Goofy Photoshop file, double click on it. It looks like this. Now for this one, the best thing to do is to save it as a JPEG. File, save as, and you're gonna call it your name underscore last initial underscore character art 01. If you want to give it a name, Goofy, and then save it as the format. Here's the trick: save it as a format as a JPEG. As a JPEG. The reason why you want to do this is because here, maximize the quality. Is because you can flatten out your image. You can flatten all your layers together and then export it. But then that could be messy if you accidentally save. Because if you accidentally save, then all your layers get flattened and they become just one layer. And then to make edits is really difficult. You can't make edits. So saving it as a JPEG kind of helps you prevent that mistake from happening. Now this JPEG from your Photoshop file, this is the JPEG that we need in our Photoshop file. So I'm going to go back to my template here and simply drag and drop my JPEG. I'm going to scale it. So I'm going to hold Shift so it scales proportionally. I'm going to change the opacity on it so I can get it to be the right size. I'm going to go to 100%, move it to the right. I'm going to change the opacity on it again to kind of see where I want it to land. Press return. Go to 100% opacity again. No, I'm going to keep it low opacity actually. So I can use the marquee tool, this one right here, to make a selection. I don't like that selection, so I'm going to hit Command D to deselect it. I'm going to go ahead and make a selection again. And then I'm going to mask it. And then change that opacity to 100%. So there's my Photoshop file now. Now notice that it changed ever so slightly in every step along the way. Like I made modifications and I made it look different. And that's the objective. It's like this sheet of paper right here speaks volume on your skill set. It tells an art director that you know how to work traditional, that you know how to work vector, and you know how to work pixel, and that you know how to do this kind of line weight, that you know how to do these type of shapes, that you can add a specific look and feel here. So this is very telling of your skill set. For me, for my grading purposes, I'm going to be able to see all the items that we've been talking about. I want to see patterns, I want to see textures, I want to see all the work in Illustrator, all the skill sets we've been discussing, all the skill sets in Photoshop. So this is very telling for me too, if you're able to keep up with the class. So okay, the last thing here is you're going to save this. This is the file that you're going to be turning in to me. So you're going to go to File, Save As, and you're going to save it with the following naming convention. First name, underscore last initial, underscore character art 01, 02 for your number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to give me all 5 of your character art. If you did extra, then that's fantastic. I'll try to give you extra credit for it. But 5 is what's required. The extra credit would be, it's not a lot of extra credit. It's just enough to, if you're on getting a B plus, it might push you to an A minus. Or if you're getting a B minus, C plus, you're in that borderline, it'll help you go up. So I would recommend you do extra poses if you can. But 5 is what's required. Okay, so character art 01, and then lastly MT for midterm, MT. And you're going to save it as a JPEG. As JPEG. Save. Press OK. So I'm going to minimize this. And on your desktop, you should have this file right here. And then you're going to have number 2, and number 3, and number 4, and number 5. These are the files that you're going to turn in to me for grading purposes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you turn that in via Canvas, and you will be done with this project. Congratulations. This is something that you can print at home. and just have it as like, wow, this is something that you have produced that has a lot of skill set. This is something that you can go in your portfolio, that you can show the different skill sets that you've covered. You don't necessarily, you would repurpose it, right? You know, when you get to the portfolio class, the demo reel class, you're going to create a portfolio that's that encapsulates all your skill sets. So you're going to repackage this to look different, but it has all the elements that you need for this class, for this skill set of being able to be a digital artist, to go from traditional to vector to pixel-based art. Okay, so I'm excited to see your artwork. Go ahead and finish all 5 of your character art, template them, and turn them in this week. Thank you for watching.